Tesla
good.
shares are falling today. This after the company said it would produce only 77,000 vehicles in the first quarter. It's so far behind its pace to fulfill Musk's pledge. Remember, he said 500,000 cars every year. And also, the company also delivered only 63,000 vehicles, and that's down 30% year over year. I want to bring in Scott Martin, the CIO of Payne View Asset Management. Scott, you know, the stock has been, charters out there would call us a descending triangle. It's made a series of lower highs over a long period of time, but in the past it's held at this $260 point and it's made pretty strong rebounds. Where is this as an investor? Has the magic worn off? What do you think?
I think the magic is getting tested, let's say, Charles, you know, whether it's Musk's antics or, as you pointed out, some of, frankly, the fundamentals of the company with regards to sales just appear to be fraying a bit. But you made a good point. I mean, I think as far as trading it, I think it's a potential opportunity here in the sense of looking at that like breakout level all the way back from a couple years ago that you mentioned, 250, 260, as maybe being another floor as it has been in the stock. And maybe that'd be a place that you'd accrue. But you've got to have a quick trigger on this thing, because if it gets above 300, 310, 320-ish as it has recently, that seems to be the area to sell.
You know, Musk, of course, was way ahead of everyone. He's been labeled a visionary, certainly been very successful. But almost every other day we read about these large automakers who are committing serious money to electric vehicles. They're trying to get standards together. What does he have to do at this point to really distinguish this company more than it's been distinguished from the pack in the past?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point, Charles. I think that the rest of the group is catching up. And I think if you're an individual investor sitting at home thinking, you know, what do I do here if I want to maybe take some interest in Tesla? I mean, as for us, we wouldn't even touch the stock if we were Joe Biden, for example, because I still think there's just too much risk, my friend, in Tesla. Yes, their business model, but Elon Musk himself. I mean, think about it if you're sitting home, Charles, and you're thinking about the troubles that the company may be having with regards to the latest sales numbers, and you got the CEO going to court because he can't keep his tweets in place because of the fact of things he said to the SEC or about the SEC. It just seems to be taking away from the focus of the business.
If he has removed the CEO, what happens to the stock?
I think it drops precipitously because I think this stock is paper without him. And you hear from some of the large shareholders that have talked about having faith in Elon Musk. I still have faith in him as an innovator, but gosh, if he can't act CEO-like, or at least prove that he can for a period of time, again, to the point that you made with Jenna previously about, you know, agreeing to certain requirements that he made with the SEC that he broke, like a couple months later, it seems like already this company is at some risk that they may lose him.
Technology in general under a lot of pressure, Scott. The semiconductors. I should also note, though, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index coming off an all-time high. It's had a blistering pace this year. This profit taking today, is there something in there that we should know, or can we connect this to anything broader, or is this perhaps overdue?
Yeah, you point out always some really good stuff. Today's a subtly kind of bad day, especially in tech land. I mean, there's some big names that have been leaders that are down pretty big. I mean, the Workdays, the Salesforces, and those Data, which is Tableau Software, Palo Alto Networks. Some of those other ones that have been really breaking out and leading are really pulling back. So I don't think it's anything to worry about too much. These have performed very well year to date, but maybe it's a precursor to a stinker of a jobs number tomorrow.
Although I will say the New York Stock Exchange, they're right now 79 new highs on the 8 new lows, and the breadth is pretty strong there. We've got 30 seconds, but it feels to me that when money comes out of one sector, it goes into another. It's reluctant to go to the sidelines. You seeing that at all?
Yeah, I am. And that's usually the sign of a pretty healthy market, to your point. I mean, industrials are still looking good today, given some of the news with China. So I do believe that, look, if there's a pullback in tech land, maybe jumping over to some healthcare or some industrials for the meantime is not a bad thing. Money will definitely come back into that sector, I believe.
Yeah, and of course, you're right. Everyone's anxious about tomorrow's numbers. Hey, Scott, thank you very much. Appreciate it.